Alright, here's a simple question that might not have such a simple answer. What year was the Promised Land set in? Sounds like a really simple question to answer. Promised Land came out in 2020, about 32 years after the first episode, the end, so therefore it's 3 million years into Red Dwarf's timeline, plus another 32 years. However, the Promised Land itself made a point of mentioning that there are age differences between the cat and his brother Rodin, in that the cat should have been the younger brother, but now appears to be the older one. And in fact, we can see that Ray Faron and Danny John Jules, there's about 12 years between them. So we've got a 12-year difference. But that doesn't even come close to accounting for the strange time weirdness and time jumps that have happened in Red Dwarf. It's way more than 12 years. Series 6's Psirens starts off with a 200-year forward time jump where the guys have been in stasis trying to catch up with Red Dwarf after having lost it after the episode Back to Reality. Then in the Series 7 episode Nanarchy, they're asleep for another 200 years as they're trying to retrace their steps back to the ocean moon where they lost Red Dwarf in Back to Reality. Then in the episode Krysis from Series 11, they're asleep for possibly another 100 years or so as they try and find another 4000 series android Butler. Okay, Krysis didn't actually give us an exact time that they were asleep, but it certainly looks like a long time, and it is implied that it's 100 years as they mention about the Nova 3s being launched 100 or so years before the Nova 5s. So forget 12 years, that's 500 years that the guys have spent just sleeping in stasis. But we could possibly add another 600 years on top for the time that they had to go to Rimmerworld through a wormhole. It's a little bit unclear in the episode whether everyone was affected by the time dilation and when they got back to our universe. Had they just been away for a few hours or had they been away for 600 years? That's unclear, but we could possibly add 600 years, taking our 500 to 1100 years that the guys have lost or gained over the time of the show. And this isn't even starting to account for the stuff that could have happened after the Series 6 finale Out of Time. So the timeline has got really strange in Red Dwarf by the time of the Promised Land. So Rodin the Feral King being about 12 years younger than his supposedly younger brother, the cat. What the smeg's going on here? Well, I've got a little theory that I think's kind of fun for this one. Remember back to the episode Dimension Jump with the brilliant Ace Rimmer? Ace is told that the dimension jump he's about to do is a one-way trip. There's no coming back.
Ace, there's no coming back.
And he himself said in the same episode, I can't go back, but there's a billion other realities to explore.
I can't go back, but there's a billion other realities to explore.
Can't go back. Keep that one in mind, because the episode just before the Promised Land, Skipper, had Rimmer skipping from reality to reality, going from one to the other, and then at the end, apparently returning back to his own reality, where he sits down with the guys and plays a game of cards, and they sort of welcome him back on board. Or do they? Or rather, is it really the same crew welcoming him back on board? Remember, jumping from realities for Ace Rimmer is a one-way trip. There was no going back. So does that not apply to the Prime Rimmer as well? Could it be that the dimension or the reality that Rimmer finds himself in at the end of Skipper isn't the one that he left at all? Just one that's extremely similar. Perhaps one where the previous events played out a little bit differently, and instead of being 500 to 1100 years further into the future, they actually lost about 12 years or so along the way, hence the cat being 12 years younger than his brother. An interesting thought, and it would help explain why it is that Rimmer's rank changed in the Promised Land.
I am First Technician Arnold J. Rimmer, BSc, SSC.
Perhaps it was just that something else played out differently and he did become a First Technician. I had my own theories for why that happened, you can check out the video up here, but this could be interesting as well, a different reality with a different rank. Of course, there are plenty of other moments in Red Dwarf where they could have gone back in time and lost those 1100 years or so. Zooming up to light speed in Series 1's Future Echoes springs to mind as a possible cause of a very weird time dilation sort of thing. Plus, who knows where their timelines could have been after Series 6 is out of time. There's also the Time Wand in Series 8, there's Tika to Ride, jumping forwards and backwards through time, loads of other possibilities, but given that the Promised Land is the episode that comes directly after Skipper, I think something happening in Skipper might make a lot of sense. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Once you start skipping realities, is it impossible to come back? There's an interesting thought. Well, if you enjoyed this, then why not consider subscribing so that you know when the next episode comes out? Nearly 4,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely insane. I didn't know there was that many Red Dwarf nutcases out there. Love you lot. And if you enjoyed this, then why not check out this video here for another fun theory that I think you'll really enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time, Smegheads. Go on, click it. You know you want to.